All right, guys, we are back. This is K-Talk Radio. You are listening to 1640 AM. I am your host, Yoshi Shiraki, and my special guest is Trevor Thompson. And I think I said this. You're listening to the show Utah Home Sweet Home. Did I say that already?
I think so.
Okay. Excellent. Well, now we're going to dive into the step-by-step of flipping a house. But I know a lot of the steps that Trevor does. Worked in the office with you guys for several years, and so I got to really see your business and have an idea of how the step-by-steps go, but curious to see what's changing with this changing market. You know, I guess a good word is pivot. There are a lot of people I've been talking to in the real estate industry that are saying, you know, I'm getting ready to pivot as the market pivots. And we don't know if how much it's gonna pivot. Maybe it completely shifts. But as little pivots start to happen, like right now, even with just open houses where you are hypothetically only allowed to go in one at a time, you know, I mean, we're pivoting right now due to this coronavirus. So let's go through the step-by-steps. Just curious, I'm going to kind of ask you questions here in regards from start to finish. Starting with marketing. You mentioned you do a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising. Has your marketing changed at all? Have you pivoted in any way, shape, or form? Maybe in the type of marketing, or maybe in the delivery of your marketing? Are you saying anything in your marketing saying coronavirus? Are you doing anything different in your marketing?
Well, I think this has all happened so quickly that we haven't gotten to the point where we've made any specific changes mentioning coronavirus. Over the last year, 18 months, we did have a big shift into digital marketing and telemarketing.
Okay.
But our tried and true has always been mail, postal service.
Yep.
And also we have a company that we hire that delivers door-to-door flyers.
Got
and
it.
hangs them on people's doors. So I had a conversation with one of my partners about this yesterday. One of the things that we did this week is we're having our guys that walk up to a door and place a hanger on the door or leave a flyer of some type. You know, everybody hates to get stuff like that at home, but the honest truth is it works. It's like the mail.
Yeah.
You know, it's why you receive Bed Bath & Beyond flyers every week.
Right, Larry H. Miller.
Yeah, exactly. So with these people, we asked our company to have them wear gloves. So just people seeing that they're walking around, putting things on their door, leaving things.
Yeah.
We got a couple of phone calls real quick about, you could be bringing me coronavirus and putting it on my doorknob. So we had the guys put gloves on and change their gloves, and you know obviously we want them to carry hand sanitizer as well. But just those little things in the perception of the people that we potentially want to meet with.
Right.
But we also do a lot of digital online marketing, and we try to be personal in that, not just paying pay-per-click ads. But in fact, we do very little pay-per-click. We do most of our stuff is organic, where it's people searching for us and they find us.
Got it.
So a lot of digital, a lot of telemarketing, a lot of specific list type stuff of certain situations on properties is what we're looking for. And those all hopefully work out in the end, but advertising, it's a numbers game, right?
It's a numbers game, absolutely. Guys, if you're listening and you've ever thought about getting in the business of flipping houses, you've seen those awesome shows, I promise you right now you've got an expert that you're listening to who does more than some of those guys that we see on television, who, you know, I for those of you who don't know, I dabbed in entertainment for a long time in New York City, and a lot of those reality shows are anything but real. And I can tell you right now, Trevor does a lot of deals. So if you ever thought about investing in real estate, flipping houses, pay attention right now, because Trevor's sharing some amazing stuff. Okay, so Trevor, the next step, let's say after you've now got the opportunity to meet with somebody and they've called you on your marketing piece, what are you doing differently now, just out of curiosity, you know, when you go to meet these people? I mean, you know, good old handshake was something that I did with all my clients, and now it's like, you know, hey, I just out of being courteous, are you practicing isolation? Social distancing, because I don't want to reach out and make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, for about 2 weeks, I don't think I've shaken somebody's hand, and you know, at first it was awkward. I think now everybody understands exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
I mentioned at the beginning of this show that I'm doing a lot more of verifying the quality of an appointment before I go on the phone, and in having that conversation ahead of time. So by the time I get there, there are specific things that I'm looking for. I need to see the condition of the home. I need to see what work and what repairs that it needs. So now as I'm going to houses, I think it's more purpose-filled and it's less about the getting to know you stage.
Yeah.
But I've always been a person who, in sales or in business or anything, I really feel like being face to face with somebody and being able to look that person in the eye builds so much more trust and assurance than talking with somebody on the phone. There's still a level of detachment. So yes, I want to meet with people. We're trying to figure out how we can do that. I said before that obviously not every house we walk into we end up buying, so my goal is to be helpful and give them useful suggestions. And I always tell people, laughing a little bit, but it's true, you know, my advice is worth what you pay for it.
Right.
Because it's only valuable to you if it's useful.
Yeah.
And if you do it.
Right.
So yeah, we want to be helpful to people, number one, and whether or not I buy their house, I would still rather see somebody be successful or improve their position, maybe off of just something that I told them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Awesome. Here's one that I'm curious. I know back in 2008, 9, when I pulled comps with the market going down, I could predict if the house sold today what I could get for it, but not knowing what it would be priced at 4 months from now because it was going down. I had to be conservative on my ARV, my after repair value, for those who don't know what ARV is. Are you altering the way you're pulling comps right now, anticipating, preparing, being cautious, whatever word you want to use it, in case values start to go backwards?
Yes, and the first thing that we do is we have to be really honest with ourselves about holding costs and about repair expenses. And that has probably been, over the last 5 years, that's been the biggest thing that has helped us be profitable. I've heard it said many, many times, you make your money when you buy, okay? The market's going to do what it does. But we have to be disciplined, if nothing else, in knowing how much it's going to cost and planning for a certain time frame. So for instance, I own a house in Layton right now. This is a property that we ended up buying this property to facilitate the seller purchasing another home from us that we had listed.
Got it.
So obviously it's not a huge remodel, it's actually pretty nice. But when I went through the numbers of where I need to be, I plan on holding the property for 6 months.
Got it.
Okay? At this point, let's see, we're still in March, right? So we bought that property on March 3rd, and my plan is hold the property for 6 months, so I have to account for that much of expense. Well, this house didn't need a whole lot of work. We listed the property, that's one of them we listed on Wednesday.
Got it.
So if all goes perfectly, I'll own this property less than 60 days.
Nice.
But I'm still planning on expenses for 6 months.
Smart.
Now the other thing that we noticed was when I evaluate a property, I try to guess where I think it's actually going to sell. And I agree with you, when you buy it, you don't actually know what your list price is going to be. And it could go up or down.
Right.
In this particular case, we ended up raising the price a little bit. But there are situations where, I kick myself over this one. I have one house right now that we listed about 2 weeks ago, I guess. And we bought this property in July. I was very optimistic about the market last summer, and I paid too much for it initially.
Got it.
Okay. I bought the property for $200,000. I planned on it being a short-term hold and a light remodel.
Got it.
Both of those things have not happened.
Ah.
So this property kind of gives me a little knot in my stomach because not only have I owned it now for 9 months, we also ended up doing a complete remodel.
Oh wow.
We probably spent $40,000 when I would have liked to spend $15,000.
Got it.
So with that compiling with owning it for too long, spending a lot more money than I initially planned, right now we're trying to see how much of our money we can actually get back.
Mhm.
But we absolutely know we're going to be negative on this house.
Got it.
That just eats me up a little bit inside.
Sure.
It's the
Me too.
one.
On
It's
mine.
the one in the last 3 years
Yeah.
that we're this upside down in.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that still makes me angry. You can probably tell I'm fighting emotions on
Yes.
this a little bit just internally, but really we haven't had a property that we've really lost money on for, it's been a while because we're really good at what we do.
Right.
You make your money when you buy.
Yeah.
So make sure that you plan for those things. And this deal will
Yeah.
affect how I buy for the next probably years.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Are you guys still in hard money on that?
Yeah,
Like, what's into it?
Yeah, we have hard money on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're losing our butts.
So the reason I asked that, for those of you who are wondering, you can go get a traditional loan at a lower interest rate. Right now, interest rates are fairly low, or you can borrow what we call hard money, and that's the type of loans I use when I fix and flip houses. Everybody pretty much uses hard money
or private
money, and it just happens to be more expensive. So when you hold a property longer than you thought, it starts to eat away at your profit real quick. I know all about that, and I've got a nightmare story on that as well.
Now, in contrast, we have had several properties recently where we've done very well and we've done better than expected. So, if we bought 37 houses last year and we had one that's eating us up, the statistics are still very good. I love real estate.
Yeah.
And that's why. This one is going to affect how I make decisions because I don't want it to happen again.
Right.
But overall, it's not going to put us out of business.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. All right, so the next question I have, are you analyzing anything different in your remodeling costs? And let me give you an example of why I asked that, and maybe it's still too soon. In the last week, in the last 7 days, I literally got a call from 3 different contractors that I use, all asking for work. So basically, which is kind of surprising because I hadn't heard, unless I'm calling them, I don't hear from these guys because they're so busy. But there are a lot of people, but basically what I've learned is all these people that were doing home renovation, and they're small contracting companies. They're not like, building the Ivory homes or anything like that. They're small guys.
Yeah.
And all of these people that were planning on doing the deck, that were planning on finishing the basement, that were planning on doing these home renovations, all canceled on them in the last week.
Yeah.
So all this work that they had literally just went away in a blink of an eye. With obviously everybody keeping isolated in home, nobody wants people coming into their house.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, these contractors don't have work anymore, and they all called me up and said, "Hey, listen, do you have any work? I'm even willing to discount my price." And I was like, "Wow, that's great for me to have a discounted price." So now I'm getting bids on my projects literally this week. Some are going today. We know somebody who does roofs, and he went last night, and he's not one who called though. But I'm getting bids on this project that we're getting ready to flip in Taylorsville, and now all of a sudden my numbers are getting better just because these guys are bidding lower. And hypothetically, they're competing now against each other. They don't really know there's 3 of them, but they want to be so competitive for the work that I'm getting a great deal. I don't know how long that'll last, but are you doing anything differently in determining your remodeling costs?
Well, having the contractors lose work doesn't magically give me more projects, okay? So what I would love to do is I would love to say, yes, come and work for me and fix all my stuff really fast. And we actually have 5 big projects going on right now. So instead of stretching 3 of our crews with their time, what we will probably do is we'll bid them out and we'll take on other work as it does become cheaper. Okay?
Okay.
The other thing that I'm doing personally is I want to keep our guys working so that they don't go out of business. So I actually began a couple of small projects at my own house.
Oh, nice.
Because it's very affordable to do.
Yeah.
So I'm having 2 patio covers built. I'm gonna put some cement behind my garage, and that's something that will make life a little bit better for me. But it is keeping one of my guys who is in that situation of had jobs canceling. I said, you know what? Come on over to my house and start this. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
I've got the cash stored away. I'm definitely not going into debt for this project.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
So if you have a small project and you're in a position to do that and you like your contractor, keep them working.
Yeah.
Okay? That has it's an opportunity to benefit both of you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I would say as contractors are available for work, prices should go down. I don't know. I don't see cost of materials going down.
Right.
So you're probably looking at labor cost more than anything else.
Got it. I think we actually are fighting for that guy's time, because I'll call him up and say, hey, can you come help me with this? He's like, oh, I'm over at Trevor's house right now.
There's a good chance.
And I heard what you're doing. It's really, really cool, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.